Hi everyone, Burt Reynolds just passed away, sadly enough. He was 82 years old and he died of cardiac arrest in a Florida hospital. He had had open heart surgery and replaced a lot of things in 2010, and I guess eventually his old age got to him. He starred in Boogie Nights, which was one of my favorite movies. He starred in Deliverance, which was a really cool movie from a long time ago. And he starred in Smookey and the Bandit with Dom DeLuise, which was my favorite of theirs. And I'm not usually into those types of people that break the law, but when I was growing up, it was just a fun movie I watched, and I loved the chemistry he had between him and Dom DeLuise. It was just, they'd have that funny laughter, and Dom DeLuise would go, and he'd wheeze, and it was really, really funny. It was the most amazing sense of humor and chemistry that they had, and sadly enough, he has finally died. Ironically, he starred in a movie called The Last Movie Star. So, you know, he's not really the last movie star, but in some ways that's actually literally true, because there are less big A-list movie stars today. There are more like kind of B, C, and D-list movie stars with the rise of YouTube, with how people aren't following these huge A-listers as much. And there are still definitely A-listers, but just not as many as there were before. And he was like one of the last big A-listers. There's also, you know, Jack Nicholson is still around. Marlon Brando died a while back, if you ever saw A Streetcar Named Desire. And here's a funny, interesting story about Burt Reynolds. Well, aside from the fact that I learned how to lift weights right before filming from watching a Burt Reynolds documentary, he would hide the weights in the boat in the movie Deliverance, and he'd lift weights and get pumped up so he'd look like he's strong, and then they'd do it right before he'd film, and then he'd look cool and strong like before he's filming his scenes. And a really interesting story is that, and he told it on either The Tonight Show or one of those late night shows. He said he went out to LA in the late 50s. He had been a big football star. He was a football star at a college or university. And I'm itching my nose because I had to get rid of all the dust in my entire house. I had to clean nonstop for 2 days, 30-something hours in a row myself. And here and there, a couple people came over and cleaned for a little while and helped. And but Burt Reynolds, what happened in the late 1950s is that he went out to Hollywood to be an actor. He was living on the East Coast, and he went out there and he met this girl, and he met all these people. He kind of partied, hung out, and he met this girl that was like some rich person's daughter, and she had a T-Bird, and it's probably where the Beach Boys song said, "Fun, fun, fun, till her daddy takes the T-Bird away." Well, she had fun, 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 till the daddy takes her T-Bird away. And anyway, so that was kind of a little off the subject, but very relevant, because this girl had this T-Bird, and she glued feathers all around the T-Bird. It was like some new expensive T-Bird. She'd drive around town in LA. Everyone knew everyone would recognize her, kind of like today they have Angeline. She drives like a brand new, really expensive pink Corvette. And this one was just this girl that was like a starlet in Hollywood. She was an actress. She was just getting started, and she got this cool T-Bird. And she'd drive around, everyone knew her, she'd party, and he got to meet her, and eventually he got to be intimate with her, or be close with her. And he said, and he stood up on, he said this on Johnny Carson or David Letterman, one of those Tonight shows. You can look it up. I'll probably put the link to it after this. And he said, he went home that night after, or he was with her, they partied, and he finally got to be with her and be close to her and everything, and kiss her and stuff. And he went home and he said, I blanked a movie star. And he was excited because she like starred in some little movies that were unknown yet, but she was like an unknown, and she had just done some little things, but he thought she was cool because she was known around town. Like, and then he said eventually she became a big actress, and he didn't name her name, but if somebody could find out who it was, she would drive a T-Bird around town in Los Angeles and had feathers all around it. So it was like this like T-Bird with feathers, like a big, like a bird car, and she was like really pretty and everything. And but that was it. He passed away, sadly enough. I never got to meet him. One of our favorite movies when I was married was Boogie Nights. We didn't want to be in porn. We never were in porn or anything, but we just thought it was a cool movie. It's starring Mark Wahlberg, and Burt Reynolds played the cool, whatever, the director of the porns. And I think one of those directors, Wes Anderson, or I forgot who, Paul Thomas Anderson directed it. And Burt Reynolds, that was one of his new big movies in the 90s or 2000s. And sadly enough, he has passed away. He's not with us anymore. So go check out some of his movies. I'll put some links at the end of this video to some Burt Reynolds videos, or at least one of them. The T-Bird story with Johnny Carson and all that. Okay, bye. Later.